Mark Landis is an art forger, an extremely gifted painter who used his talent to paint in the styles of various famous and obscure artists. For over 3 decades, he got away with these perfect crimes. In fact, they were so perfect, they aren't really even considered crimes, as he never charged any money and no one was hurt. So why did he do it? Because he was treated nicely. Mark was not used to being treated nicely, and he was shocked at how well people treated him when he donated. Before he knew it, Mark was addicted. He approached countless museums and university galleries fully in character. Two of his favorite fantasies to play out were a wealthy philanthropist and a priest. Over the years, he never kept track of the museums he donated to. It's likely that some museums in the United States are still adorned with some of Mark's work, without knowing. One of the roles you played was that of a priest.
I'd like to be a priest, but I don't want to go to all the trouble. A priest in a wealthy family might have some valuable pictures. So I thought, well, gee, I can get to be a priest and I can be a philanthropist. I can bring all my dreams can come true.
Why did you start donating paintings under the names of other painters when you were so young?
Poor self-esteem got me where I got addicted to it. I go to a museum with a picture and they treat me like, like, like king for a day.
Mark, is painting lonely?
If I weren't an infamous art forger or whatever, I mean, and so on, I wouldn't be, I'd be some lonely old guy sitting in my room waiting for the nursing home, right?
Did the people around you when you were younger recognize your skill or talent?
They told my mother when I was a teenager, they said, he will be in institutions the rest of his life.
Mark, how did you do it all? You had no money, but you played the part of a rich millionaire philanthropist.
This will interest you as a journalist. People do believe what they want to believe, I guess. Because I remember, because I had a museum director come up from New Orleans and to pick up a valuable picture. Look, it would be, when I say, it would be valuable if it were real. Okay, let's put it that way, right? And I'm living in a housing project, but it didn't seem to bother him. So the reason for that is, it's like, here's this guy, he's a multi-millionaire art collector and philanthropist, but he's living in a housing project. So, what do you think? He must be a rich eccentric, right? I remember, like, sometimes they drive me from the museum to like, I remember, like, I'd have them take me to a real expensive first class hotel, and I'd pretend like I was there, but then, I get rid of them somehow, and and then I'd sneak out and go sleep at the bus station. That's when I was younger. So I lived that life of mystery and intrigue. So in a way, it was kind of fun. But it's fun when you're younger, when you're your age. But I couldn't do it now. I used to sleep at bus stations. Boy, those places.
Now, one of the roles you played was that of a priest. Why did you decide to impersonate a priest?
There's a movie called and you probably haven't seen it, but maybe you have. It's called The Swan, and it had Grace Kelly and Alec Guinness. It used to be on TCM a lot. Well, anyway, there was a character in it that was a priest. Now Grace Kelly played a princess in the movie. Okay, from a real, wealthy aristocratic family, and she had an uncle that was a priest. Okay, and I was watching that movie. I was thinking, gee. And anyway, I wanted to be a priest when I was a teenager anyway, but I read about those seminaries, and I was thinking, uh, those places sound awful. I would want to go to one of those places, right? I mean, it sounded even worse than those group homes I was in, you know. So I was thinking, gee, I don't want to go to. I'd like to be a priest, but I don't want to go to all the trouble. Right? I wanted to be a priest when I was a teenager, right? And then I saw I was watching that movie. I was thinking, hey, look, lots of rich, prominent families would have a priest in the family, right? Sure, they do, you know. And so I was thinking, hey, I can be and besides a priest in a wealthy family might have some valuable pictures, and while they don't exactly take a vow of poverty, they don't generally go in for austin. They like to be charitable and stuff. And so I thought, well, gee, I can get to be a priest and I can be a philanthropist. I can bring all my dreams can come true, you know.
Why did you start donating paintings under the names of other painters when you were so young?
I wanted to impress my mother when I was a little older than you, but not much. Maybe a couple of 1 or 2 years older. Okay? I wanted to impress my mother, and I was watching things on TV about philanthropists giving pictures to museums, and it was in the paper, you know. From time to time, I'd see an article where some guy donates this painting worth a lot of money to a museum, you know. And when you go to a museum, you still see the little plaque saying gift of Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Uppington and Mr. and Mrs. Gildersleeve and people like, you know what I mean, right? I mean, and I had the idea of because poor self-esteem got me where I am. When I was your age, I had real poor self-esteem. I still do, but not as poor as when I was your age.
Why?
Well, I had poor self-esteem because I was not a good-looking, um, wealthy, successful, upwardly mobile young professional. Uh, uh, I was yeah, definitely a marginal type. Um, um, and anyway, I had the idea from these things, I had the idea to donate a drawing of an Indian to the Oakland Museum. And if they just said, thanks a lot, uh, here's one of our calendars, bye, and but no, I got treated like one of the Vanderbilts or the Stocktons or the Lurie's or these are big San Francisco, these are big California families. And I was thinking, gee, this is all right, So I got addicted to it. I go to a museum with a picture, and they treat me like 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 king for a day, and I got addicted to it. I got addicted to being treated like a big rich philanthropist, an art collector, and everything, which is really what I like to be. I'd rather be a big rich uh, multi-millionaire, maybe even billionaire, rich art collector and philanthropist than I would an artist any old day.
Why?
I don't know, but I mean, wouldn't you like to be that?
Yeah, of course. But maybe I'm too young, but I love what I do. I mean, I can't get enough of it. And isn't that the point? I mean, if you don't love what you do, everything is hard work, right? It becomes grueling.
Yeah, okay, well, good for you. Good for you. Well, you don't look like a young man that has any reason to have poor self-esteem. But boy, I sure did. And uh, and I mean, I was close to being homeless, but I never was home. But I was close. I was broke all the time. Yeah, but now you'd like to be a big rich philanthropist, right? You'd like to be a multimillionaire, wouldn't you?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would have liked to have been, and I'd still like to be that. I never will be, but I can't complain. I can't complain because I keep busy. I get to talk to I get to talk to people like you, right? I mean, if I if I weren't a infamous art forger or whatever. I mean, and so on. If you, I wouldn't be. I'd be a lonely. I'd be some lonely old guy sitting in my room waiting for the nursing home, right? Because there's lots of lonely old guys that they get they nobody's interested in them. Nobody, they bore you to pieces. Wow. I mean, I know you've had this experience. Did you ever find yourself thinking, oh my goodness, I got to get away from that woman. She's going to bore me to death with, her grandchildren and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, there's dangerous old people in my building. There's this one old guy, I think he's gone now, but wow, is he he's a bad one to run. He'll corner you and you can't get away from him because you got to listen to a litany of all his operations. So, but here you are. You wanted to talk to me, right? I didn't have to corner you at the mailbox or the laundry room or you probably don't have a we don't have a laundry room either, but on situation comedies though people get trapped in laundry rooms with tedious people. But yeah, or in the parking lot, some old guy or so. See, you've no doubt had old people, and they're hard to get away from you. But here you are, a bright young man, and you wanted to talk to me, right? Those people would envy me, right?
Yeah.
You'll be an old man someday too. Okay,
Mark, is painting lonely?
no. Uh-uh. In fact, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't really get lonely because I'm kind of used to it. I mean, if you read my biography, you'll know I was an only child, and then I was in a mental hospital, and I got thrown into solitary confinement a couple of times for misbehavior. I deserved it. I deserved it. I'm not complaining. And then and then so I'm used to it. It doesn't Loneliness doesn't bother me, and but boredom does, and not having anything to do, and not having any sense of purpose. You just told me a few minutes ago that you loved what you do, right? If you had nothing to do, if that were taken away from you, you would go down. You would be dejected. You'd feel purposeless, aimless. You wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
No, art is not, painting is not lonely to me because, I watch TV while I do it. If you see any pictures of me working, I've been painting and drawing in my life in a small bedroom all my life. I'm not like the artists on TV. I don't have a studio. I never have.
How did you manage to get by selling only 5 paintings a year?
I managed to get by doing all kinds of little things, restoring pictures. Every once in a while, I sold a picture. I had brief jobs in advertising, like I used to do the for the those oh my, I don't know whether they do it anymore, but I used to do the fashion drawings that would be in the supplements, for the department store ads, right? You know, uh, you can buy this coat. The drawings of models wearing coats and things. Did that. I was in animation a little bit, but boy, that was boring. There's nothing more boring. Well, of course, things have changed a lot since 1975.
Did the people around you when you were younger recognize your skill or talent? Would they picture all of this coming to life?
They predicted my future. They told my mother when I was a teenager, they said, he will be in institutions the rest of his life, or group homes or something. But I've done okay, right? Wouldn't you say?
Sure, of course.